Hello, everyone. This is Arturo Casas, current baseball student athlete at Manchester University. I represent the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference and the North Coast Athletic Conference with National SAAC here with Hot Topics with Josh Africa. You want to give us an introduction?
Yeah, what's up,
Oh,
everybody?
actually,
What was that?
you want to give us your old SAAC
Yeah,
introduction?
yeah, yeah. I was gonna try and see if I remembered it. What's up, everybody? My name is Josh Africa. I am a former student, athlete, and golfer from Penn State Harrisburg, and I proudly represented the United East Conference.
Awesome. So, can you talk a little bit about where you went to school and what your college journey was like with athletics and academics?
So I did 5 years at Penn State Harrisburg. It's the branch campus of the Pennsylvania State University college, I guess. And yeah, I did 5 years there because my sophomore year was during COVID, so we got an extra year of eligibility. I studied mechanical engineering, so I have a degree from Penn State with a degree in mechanical engineering, and I also played golf. In 2023, I was the United East Conference Golfer of the Year because I won the tournament. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's crazy to think like how far back, like I'd started from freshman year to my senior year or my fifth year technically, but my freshman year I didn't even start, I didn't even play, and it's kind of crazy how the climb and how much better I got throughout those 5 years. So
Crazy journey. It's an awesome journey.
yeah,
You want
I
to talk a little bit
appreciate it.
about the balance? You said engineering. That's pretty tough. So how was that balance with
Yeah,
athletics?
well, it's crazy to think that I was able to even do that just because I'm not the strongest um, in the classroom. So I really had to focus and set goals for myself, set small goals that like, hey, this is what I'm going to do this semester. This is what I'm going to accomplish, and it's cool that I was able to accomplish some of the things that I didn't even think that I could have my freshman year. I mean, I didn't even think I was going to stick with engineering, um, and it's kind of cool that when you organize yourself and you just set goals and determine this is what I want to do. Um, you kind of have to think, okay, I'm a student first before I'm an athlete. So as a student athlete, you got to maintain a certain GPA. You got to check in with all your teachers and coaches, for classes you're going to be missing when you go compete. So, I didn't really have a lot of free time, but I think um, just trying to focus on myself and kind of be my own individual person that helped me a lot, especially coming from um, a kid that didn't have any friends in Pennsylvania. I'm from Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia. Um, I didn't have a lot of friends, so I was trying to make friends and also trying to make the most out of my college experience. So my freshman year, um, we have affiliation with the big Penn State campus, so we could get tickets to go to the football games, and we could also get go up there whenever we wanted to use the meal plan stuff, and like we had access to everything. So you just have to establish kind of like, hey, this is, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, or maybe I should get my school stuff done first. That way I can go have fun later, or maybe I should go get school done, then practice, and then go have fun. Or you know, um, you just have to prioritize.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome. Especially with
yeah,
priorities and your responsibilities, knowing what you can do. And I think you did that pretty well with how you went
thanks,
with your
man.
NIL deals and everything. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thanks,
telling me.
man. Yeah, dude.
Awesome.
If you had known me freshman year, you would have not have said that. But
Oh, I know.
I'm
That's
glad
how I
that.
feel too.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're at where we're at now.
Oh, yeah. So now that you are graduated, you want to tell us what you're doing these days?
Yeah, so I actually, after I graduated in spring of 2023, um, I turned professional in golf later that fall. Um, and ever since then, I've just been competing all over the world and traveling to all these places, just playing and just trying to establish myself out in the professional realm of golf.
Can you briefly explain what name, image, and likeness, or NIL, rights are and how they've changed the landscape for college athletics?
So name, image, and likeness, NIL, or from what I understand, is the ability for student athletes in collegiate athletics to be able to be monetized and profited just from their name, what they do in their sport, how likable they are, and how profitable their image is. Yeah, I think NIL is just it's been a roller coaster, but I think NIL has been very good for the collegiate space in the most part.
Yeah, and it's really cool how just to see the difference between the divisions. How Division 1 is completely different than Division 3, and Division 3 still has a decent amount of NIL deals. It's just not as big.
Exactly.
So yeah. All right. When you first learned about NIL, what were your initial thoughts on it?
Well, as a Division 3 student, like, you don't think that you're going to benefit as much as you think, your Division 1, Division 2 peers are going to be benefiting from it. So I think for me, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I guess I'll sit back and watch other people get paid. But, it was the complete opposite when I was first approached about doing something like that. And yeah, I think, like I said, name, image, and likeness, anybody can be profited and anybody is marketable.
Mm-hmm. All right. What types of NIL deals have you been able to secure, and how do they come about?
Let me think. I think some of the first ones I've been doing like golf stuff. So a lot of golf companies reached out to me, which I think was pretty cool. And then slowly turned into, started doing energy drinks, and then I started doing stuff with Amazon. I think the biggest one was ZipRecruiter. And I think that was probably one of the bigger NIL deals and contracts that I got to do.
That's awesome. Can you explain like the difference between a sports-specific NIL deal and something more broad, like the energy drinks or like the ZipRecruiter? How much you'd want to do one over the other, and like just differences?
Yeah, so I think like when I started out, like I didn't know, like I wasn't very good marketing wise, like anything outside of golf. Like I didn't think that I could, be marketable and profit off of just me talking and just explaining stuff. So I think when I was first nitpicking like what kind of niche I wanted to be in, I kind of just stuck to golf because that's kind of all I knew. And then like once I got comfortable being like behind the camera, talking in front of people, and like once I built that confidence up, that's when I like started branching out and like started accepting all these other stuff. And it's really cool too because these companies that are hitting me up, they recognize that slowly I was getting more comfortable being behind the camera. So it was a lot easier for me to transition to not just golf, but golf with this, or like how can my athletic performance be affected from this. So it all kind of tied in together in that sense. So
that's really cool. It's awesome to hear. All right. Nothing is ever perfect. Can you talk about some of the biggest challenges you faced with the NIL space?
Let me think. Some of the biggest challenges. Okay. So in my campus specifically, when I was getting into NIL, I didn't have anybody to like read the contracts or help me out or anything. So really I'm signing my name to like some things that, that could be like worded differently or like be very innocuous, but like later down the road, you're like, I didn't agree to this, but then you did because you signed it. And I've never had any huge issues with certain things, but I think just having that second pair of eyes to read over a contract, because I think there was one contract in particular that I signed, but I didn't read that, like, if I didn't get it out on social media in a certain amount of days after receiving the product or after receiving the template of what they wanted, they were going to deduct like your pay, like, I don't know, 5% per day or something, and I think I was like 3 days behind. So that's 15% off of what like you'd agreed to it. Yeah, exactly. And so it's just small stuff like that that you don't even think that it's going to affect you, but later down the road, if you're like, hey, I didn't read it fully, or like, as an engineer, I'm not really good at reading. I'm better off with numbers. That's why I chose that degree. Like I probably skimmed it. I didn't read it. So I think having a second pair of eyes could have been very helpful. Also, knowing what contracts and partnerships that your school has, because you don't want to kind of cross paths with like a competitor company. For example, Penn State is a Pepsi company, or they have ties with Pepsi. Imagine if I had gotten something from like, I don't know, Coke, or I don't know, anything like that, right? So that would have contradicted where like I would have signed something that was probably a big no-no, and I would have gotten in trouble. So I think just having a pair of eyes and having someone in your school and your financial department, I guess, just read over it. It doesn't hurt to ask for help. So I think that was probably one of the more difficult things. Yeah.
Can you talk more about like the partnerships like that? I know Penn State has like the bigger connections because they're all under one big campus, right? Like at Manchester, we're just on our own out there, just small school. So I couldn't imagine that if like one of our student athletes got a big deal like that the school could step in and say like, hey, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't think they caught, like, I was doing everything by myself. Like, I don't think they caught on to like, oh yeah, one of our own kids is like benefiting from NIL. And like a lot of the other student athletes too were like catching on, like, hey, do you have NIL stuff going on? I'm like, I mean, yeah, but it's nothing crazy. Like I'm not getting thousands and thousands of millions of dollars. I'm getting enough to fill up my gas for the week, or I'm getting enough to, go out for lunch instead of using my meal plan or something like that. But yeah, I think there's only been a few other times where, like later down the road after I had started with NIL, where they're like, okay, hey, this is your blah 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 from the financial department. I just want to make sure that this is what you're signing for. And it was out of the blue too. It was like, I was like, oh, so now that like we're doing good, like now that yeah, now you want to come in and kind of dictate where all these deals go and like how much percentage you guys want and all this stuff. They didn't take any money from me, but they were like we were contracted by kind of like a partnering company that would connect the student athletes with the companies that want people to promote their company and their products and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't have any malice or malicious intent towards them. I mean, I was playing for a school that I really wanted to go to, so it's not like I just wish that I could have made that extra step to ask them, but that's also on me. Like, say it goes both ways, right?
And that was when NIL was pretty new, so everyone
exactly
was, like, figured out how it worked out and everything. So.
Yeah, and I mean, as a Division III athlete, like right, like you're not thinking that your kid, like one of your own students, is making any money. Like it could be $5, it could be $500, right? You're not expecting a Division III kid to be able to, be profitable and marketable like that. So
yeah, which is awesome that it can happen though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You've had some opportunities to speak about NIL and your experience. Knowing all of that, what advice would you give to other athletes who are exploring the NIL space?
So for me, NIL came down to a few things where it was like, how can I, one, make money? I mean, who doesn't want to make money? But two, is also like, I knew kind of after I graduated that I wanted to play golf somewhere professionally, right? So how, for me, can I utilize NIL and start early on, contract negotiation, or how can I network where I don't sound like I'm asking for money, or I'm being desperate, right? Because in networking and business and stuff, and I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of the viewers here, are, studying business, marketing, right? I was an engineer. What do I know about business and marketing, right? So this was also my outlet to think, okay, this is how I get into the door. Now, how do I shake hands with the people that want me to go with them to the next room? You know what I mean? So I think, and it all depends on what you want. So if you want NIL, if you want a short-term thing, put your name out there for everything, right? But for me, long-term wise, like if I wanted to pursue something that, I'm going to need a lot of help financially, um, for me, it's about networking, but also getting in touch with the right people. But also, it's about being able to explain myself, because no one knows you better than you do. And so I think that being able to communicate that and being able to speak about yourself and your character more than, like, it speaks more volumes than
Yeah.
someone else who's trying to like promote you or whatever. So I think, um, in that professional sense, I just wanted, yes, I wanted to make money, but I also wanted to have the confidence to be able to speak about myself and network properly. Um, being that I have a bachelor's of science and not, I don't have a business or marketing degree. So I think that's for me, it was just expanding my knowledge and just trying to communicate and talk to people. Because prior to college, if you had asked me to go up on a stage in front of thousands of people to talk about something that I did, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, I probably would have sweat. I probably would have, like, oh man, I would have been so jittery. Like, there's no way it would have happened.
Josh was actually at last year's convention in Phoenix. Was it Phoenix?
Phoenix, yeah, yes sir.
Yeah, huge stage. That was amazing. I went over and watched it. Everyone should go watch that. That's really cool. And about networking, I was always told your network is your net worth. And yeah, creating deep connections, close connections with people who are going to talk about you in different rooms and how you put yourself out there and what they're going to tell other people. That's how you create stronger connections and even better connections of who you want to work for, where you want to work for. It's super correct. That's awesome. Thank you for expanding on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think the introduction of NIL had any influence on the effect of your athletic performance or commitment to your team? If so, how was it?
Yeah, I think it had a positive and a negative influence, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
positively, you're not just playing for your team anymore, right? And you're not playing just for your school, your name, your team. Now you're playing for, people that want to give you money. And it kind of also gives that like professional athlete kind of feel. Like,
Yeah,
if I don't perform, I'm not getting paid. So I think that it added that positive. I call it a positive because it gives you
like a
extra
drive,
pressure.
right? Yeah.
All right, yeah, like it's an adrenaline rush. Like, okay, I got
Mm-hmm.
to play well. These people are watching me. Maybe they're not watching you physically, but obviously they're going to put up the scores online and stuff. So it's like,
They know what you're doing. They're looking
right,
at you.
yeah, exactly. Like, if NIL had come out my freshman year, I probably would have been bottom of the barrel of people they wanted to like sponsor or give money to,
Mm-hmm.
just because like I did not play. I was terrible. Like, I was not where I needed to be on the golf course. But then you fast forward 3-4 years, right? Like, I played so much better knowing that like these people want me to represent them. So I have to take it upon myself to positively improve on my game, but then also um, be able to market them in a positive way, right? Because then not only is it affecting your athletic ability and also like how you perform, but then your brain, like on the golf course, right? Like, I can't, hit a bad shot and then just start throwing my clubs and just, start like,
Yeah.
dang it, I hate my life or whatever. But like, you also have to think like, what do these people want you to behave in a certain way as well? So I think it also brings you down to a calmer sense of like, I'm representing these people, but then I'm also representing my own company, and I'm representing the school. So like, it positively impacts you that way. But then where the negative connotation comes in is you give someone too much money, or like you give them too much of an opportunity, and then you kind of get a sense of entitlement, which you're seeing in Division 1 now,
Yeah.
like
Moving over to
college
schools
football.
because you're gonna get more money. Yeah.
Exactly. And I
It was
mean,
championships, and now it's championships and money, so it's
right.
hard.
Yeah, like, back in the day, championships used to be homebred, right? Like you're maybe not win a single game your freshman year, but by the time you're a senior, you're hoisting a trophy.
Top conference, yeah.
Exactly. But nowadays, it's like, who's going to pay for my championship?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what in the world? And I mean,
It's
don't get me wrong. Like, they're like, I can't remember what the percentage is, but let's just take college football for an example. I think only like a handful of those players are actually going to have a successful career in the NFL. So knowing that, right?
they're like, all right, if I'm not gonna move on, I might as well make
Yeah,
some money.
you might as well shoot. If I'll go to Nebraska tomorrow if they give me 1.2 million,
Yeah.
a no brainer.
Yeah.
But back in the day, right? Like it used to be a positive thing to go to one school, go there for 3-4 years,
Mm-hmm.
go to the league,
Build up
right?
what you can. Yeah.
Right. Some of the guys that are like walk-ons now are getting opportunities to go play. Maybe not FBS, maybe FCS, or I'm using college football as an example, but this is what we've seen as of recent. But it's crazy. Like that's why I think there needs to be a cap on what or not what, but how much I guess is being put into. But then again, you also have donors, then you have backers from the school that are also investing money and donating money. So I don't think I think there should be a cap, but then at the same time, I don't think that it will be able to be controlled.
Yeah.
And that's where the negative connotation comes in, because now, like, what's to say a Division 2 and Division 3 kid aren't, entitled to the same compensation,
Same amount of money.
right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a Division 3, like, let's just take as an example, Juniata College just won volleyball, the national
Like 3
championship.
years in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years in a row. Who's to say they're not supposed to be compensated just like, you know, let's just say my school. Yeah, Penn State football. Like we're like 2 games away from the championship. But when was the last time they were in the big game? Like 12 years ago. Meanwhile, you have Juniata women's volleyball gone back to back to back. Like, and they're probably not getting a lick of money. They're doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah, that's what Division 3 really is. It's passion, love of the game. It's going because you love your sport. You're gonna play 4 more years and be on a team. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's love.
Yeah. So I think that's where the positive and the negative connotation come in, because like, where do we bridge the gap? Right. Mm-hmm. Like, I guarantee you, if you ask every single one of those volleyball players if they would rather win a championship and get compensated, like I guarantee you they'll be happy with $100.
Oh yeah.
Right. But
100%.
then like winning a championship at some place that just paid you to do it, I don't know. Just to me, it doesn't feel the same, because it's like almost like you're expecting to win. Yeah. It's almost like you're expecting to win, but then like, that's why I appreciate and I love Division 3 sports so much, because it's not about like how much you're getting paid to do what. You're like you said, you're doing it for the love of the game, love of the sport, because you want to do it.
Yeah. Also, shout out Lily and Case Juniata Eagles, right? They're the Eagles? Maybe. I know it's in Philly.
Oh man, I should have done my research. I think they're the Juniata Eagles.
I think so. You've now moved on to a career as a professional golfer. Can you talk about how your knowledge with NIL and marketing yourself have helped with finishing your college career?
So I'm still pretty young and like fairly new in this sports industry. So, like actually reaching out to companies and stuff has just been it's really easy. Like you wouldn't think that, because I mean, here's the thing too. Like for me, it's not like anybody sought out me after I graduated, right? Because it was just more of like a collegiate thing, and like NIL typically favors those in college, right? So I think after leaving and like not having that space anymore, it's like I had to go out and like kind of do it on my own, which I found to be not as difficult as a lot of people think it is, just because I have that ground base of just knowing like who to contact, like who to talk to, um, where like I should start, right? Because like especially in today's economy, right? Like money is not an easy thing to come by, and so I try to seek out companies that maybe our families are friends with, or maybe so like companies that are going to want to help you out in the long term, right? It doesn't have to be a lot of money either. Like maybe one company can sponsor your travel, one can accommodate hotels and transportation. So like dissecting it, and then also like, hey, I just need you for this, I need you for this, I need you for this, right? That's the background of NIL and the business aspect of it and networking to think, okay, I don't need this company to sponsor everything, right? Like maybe they'll give me enough money to, rent a car, get a hotel, eat, right? Because sometimes like the venues, they'll feed you, but it's like hot dogs and burgers. Like I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want a hot dog and burger if I go to Thailand. Like I want to eat the food in Thailand.
That's a Division 3 meal, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't want to go to Wendy's when I'm in the Philippines. Like
Mhm.
what? um, and so I think taking that leap from the collegiate experience to the professional experience, and in the sports industry alone, I think NIL not only helped me in the business world, but just talking to people,
Mhm.
right? Just being open to anything, right? Because I think that's what so many athletes, Division 2, Division 3, maybe even Division 1, that are so afraid of is like, because I'm categorized and labeled as such, that no one's gonna want me. That's
Mhm.
so far from the truth, right? Because regard like if when you leave college, I said this at the convention last year. When you leave college, are you Division 1, Division 2, Division 3 anymore? No,
Nope.
we're still human beings. Like that's so like I don't know. That's so very Hunger Games of you to think that you're not going to get the same opportunity just because you're in a lower division. Um, Honestly, it's just about how you present yourself and how you talk to people and network. Because believe it or not, some of the Division 3 schools have way more funds than some of the Division 1 schools um, across the country. Like you wouldn't think it, but like
No.
some of them are. Because a lot of them are like private schools, or some of them are funded by certain
State school.
families. And, yeah, exactly. And just even talking to them, be like, hey, like it could be the smallest thing possible. Like, hey, could we get a new uniform? Hey, can we get new apparel? Like just presenting yourself and taking that initiative to open the door for yourself to want to benefit from something like NIL. And like I said, I wasn't making thousands or millions of dollars. I was making like a couple $100, right? But as a Division 3 athlete, like
That's
you're
good enough.
paying for
Yeah.
school. Yeah, you're paying for school. Like help yourself out a little bit,
Mhm.
you know?
Can you talk about like the quality of work you need to do for specific like NIL deals? I remember we talked about it last time we met, but I think that goes hand in hand with creating your own image and how you want people to see you.
Yeah. So I think so your questioning is like how did the like how did I make content that would suffice? Is that what
Yes,
okay.
that made people want to reach out to you and
Right.
yeah.
Um Well, I think something that I had in my favor, I'm just like super incredibly good looking. So that, I'm just kidding. No, I think just for me, like personality wise, like it was very easy for me to create content and also make it fun. Like I think we always joke on TikTok creators and like Reels creators that like, oh, this is so cringe, blah 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 blah. But guess what? You're talking about it. You're thinking about it, right? So
Engagement, yeah.
how yeah, like in my head, I'm like, okay, so how can I make this fun, but not cringy? And granted, there are going to be people that think everything is cringy. So it's like once I turned that switch off of thinking once I turned that switch off of thinking, okay, let's not focus on the people that will not like your content, and let's entertain the people that tune into you, like that want to support you, like your friends, your family, or whatever, right? Because at the end of the day, why are we worrying about the people that don't like our content or don't want to watch us when, like, basically it's like you're trying to get approval and satisfaction. Basically, you're trying to get you're trying to get approval and satisfaction from people that don't want to give it to you. So then why even entertain them? So
Why waste energy on that when you can put it towards
yeah,
something real?
exactly. So like
Yeah.
when I was making content, I'm like, okay, who's gonna enjoy this that I think can balance out, like, who doesn't want to watch it? Because if they don't want to watch it, they're gonna follow me, right? So who, like, how can I make this fun for myself, but then also be okay with the company and like, oh yeah, this is fun. Like I really like this content. Like let's make some more, right?
Mhm.
Because I've seen people straight up like set a camera up and just go, you should log in and use Recruiter today. I'm like, I like first 3 seconds, I already clicked that. I'm like, I'm not watching this.
Mhm. Yeah.
So like, you gotta kind of, you have to use your creative juices to like, I don't know, like, well, who's that one TikToker? The gymnast. Oh, what's her name?
Libby Dunn?
Yeah, like what brought people in to her content was that she has a very bubbly personality.
Mhm.
She's easily likable,
Mhm.
right? She's very like she's still in the zeitgeist, so she kind of knows like what's in, what's out, right? You could say the same thing about um, Jared McCain, plays for the Sixers now. You could say the same thing about him. Not a lot of people like his content, but a lot of people are talking about his content.
Oh yeah. And the
And
people
he's
that did like his content loved his content and they've watched
uh-huh,
it forever and ever. Yeah.
right? Yeah, there's no gray area. You either like it, you hate it.
Yeah.
But
But people are watching.
the common thing about the people that hate it and like it, they're all watching.
Mhm.
And so like that,
And he's balling out too.
yeah.
He's
And
doing
like
good.
you got to think about, those people know how to market and know how to network so well that
Mhm.
like for me, like I absorb everything. So like I'm like, okay, she kind of does this well. He kind of does this really, really well. And they both don't care whether or not you like their content or not. Which,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be someone like online, if you're gonna use the online space to make money, you also have to think, okay, I'm not entertaining the people that don't like my stuff. You're gonna make this for the people. Like if you're making it for yourself because you want to benefit from NIL, and two, you want to be able to look back and think, okay, this is probably one of the best stuff or best videos or whatever that I put out. Let's continue with this. Let's keep rolling with this, right? Because eventually something's gonna click. You're gonna figure it out. So
Sweet. All right. Last question of the day. We've
uh-oh.
seen that you launched a series called Road to Pro. Can you talk about how that came about and what you hope for it as more episodes come out?
Yeah, so I have one of my good friends. He's a videographer. His name's Austin. Shout out to Austin. He's a great guy. I met him on the golf course actually at a charity tournament, and he was like, "Dude, like, I've seen your Instagram and stuff. Like, you're killing it in the reels and stuff. Like, why don't we start doing YouTube videos and like film matches?" And I'm like, I don't know if I have the time. Like, I want to be playing. I'm going to be playing professional golf, and like, I don't know. The off season is probably the only time that I have. And he's like, "Dude, even if you put out a few videos, like, people are going to want to watch that. Like, golf is booming right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's playing." So he's
Yeah.
like, let's get a couple videos out. Like I'll film you. Let's get a couple videos out, and let's film your training sessions. Your coaching, like your coach sessions and stuff. So he actually had coined the idea of Road to Pro. So all the props goes to him. He coined the term Road to Pro for my series at least, and I think right now it came out like a month ago. I think it's got almost 2,500 views, which is insane for a first video.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do it just because like when I practice, like I like to be to myself and like I like to work on the things that I'm working on. And honestly, I like looking at my golf swing, but like seeing it like on YouTube in a space where like people are so judgmental, which I don't care regardless. But um, it's cool that I've gone from just short reels, NIL stuff to now I'm like doing YouTube, and like you guys get to see my journey to becoming a professional or like a true professional, with this Road to Pro series. Like we're gonna be putting them out throughout this year, and I think it's gonna be something really cool. I don't know if we're gonna be posting consistently just because I'll be on the road a lot, but we've filmed a lot of stuff in the past few weeks that I'm really excited to see be put out there on YouTube. So if you guys haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. Right now, my page is called Josh Africa. I think we just hit 100 subscribers the other day, so super huge accomplishment. Yeah, like we're just going to be filming the Road to Pro series, and like maybe I might throw in some NIL tips and stuff in there, and like how you guys can all be profited and marketable and successful. I wouldn't say successful. I think I was at the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I'm excited for it. Definitely get to learn and through the process as we go. But and at the end of the day, NIL has helped me so much just from the networking, and then like being able to talk to people, the opportunities it's given me, to establish myself in the professional setting and in the world, really. And actually, I want to plug in real quick. I have to thank the Playbook app, because they were the third-party people that were connecting us to those companies that were reaching out. So none of this would be possible if they hadn't reached out to me first. So shout out to Julia and Chloe at Playbook app. Amazing people. If you guys want to get into the NIL space, actually go sign up on the Playbook app, and you can get connected to someone who will help you and guide you through the NIL process as well. Because that's how I started it. And then when I kind of established my footing, like that's when I was able to branch out and work with companies such as ZipRecruiter, Amazon, who else? A bunch of energy drinks, golf related stuff. So they do a fantastic job over there. And yeah, I think there's so many people to thank, but all in all, I have to thank them, because without them, I would not be in this position. So
There's quite a few NIL apps out there too. There's a lot of help
yeah,
out there. Really, like you should go out to look for help because it is very tricky.
yeah,
And like
yeah.
it really is about just taking the first step, going out and doing it. My coach always
Mm-hmm.
tells me that, because he's also our athletic director and he helps with SAAC, and he tells us just go out and do it. Just see what
Exactly.
happens. If you mess
Yeah.
up, that's hard. Yeah.
Take that initiative. Take the first step. That's one thing that NIL taught me too, is that, right, like no one's going to come and seek you out. You have to take that initiative and first step to say, hey, this is what I want. This is how we're going to do it, or this is how I'm going to do it. Excuse me. And this is my plan towards it. So everything comes with a plan. It can't just come together all at one spontaneous thing. So if anybody needs any help or has any other questions, my DMs are open. I don't want to give up my number because it might get leaked, but
Too much.
yeah, but my Instagram, feel free to DM me, or my email if that's available. I think I have a business email linked to my pages. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free. I'm always available to talk. So
Thank you, Josh Africa, for talking to us about NIL. This has been Hot Topics with National SAAC.
woo-hoo! Go National SAAC.